Welcome back to the Purpose Over Profits podcast. I'm Jim Floyd, owner of Ascent Total Performance.
I'm Jeremy Powers, owner of Powers Insurance Experts. Today, we've got an awesome guest. I met Jonathan Gamboa.
Yes, sir.
Make sure I'm saying it right. I think I am. Boom. There we go. I met Jonathan. I'll say, and I'll let him introduce himself, but I met Jonathan. He was coming into a networking meeting. He had been invited by someone that told me they would never join a networking group. And I said, just come with me. And then she was like, okay, I'll join. And so she joined. She invited you. And man, from day one, man, you have just been all about it. I love like your go-getter mentality. And it scares me a little bit because, man, I'm just like, I got to step my game up when I'm around this guy because he's out there getting it. But with no further ado, I want to allow you to introduce yourself, Jonathan.
Thank you. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm Jonathan Gamboa. It's been a pleasure to make your friendship and to meet you, like I said, or like you said. But yeah, just diving right into it, like you said, with the networking and stuff. I never realized that that's kind of what my thing is, networking. Yeah. I've always been that guy. It's like, I know somebody that, like y'all should hook up. Like, I know, he can help you out, stuff like that. And then once I met you through that avenue, I was like, man, this is like a thing, and it can really be beneficial to a lot of people. And I just naturally kind of gravitate to that idea.
Absolutely. I think it's so cool when you find that thing, but for Jim, it's just writing books and teaching people all this stuff and just exploding knowledge in every conversation. For us, it's just being likable. We
gotta running our mouth,
and you have a nice beard. I don't even have that. So I don't even know where I fit in anymore, guys.
It's like, so there's something missing.
I know. I'm going to be kicked out of this. I'm going to be kicked off the podcast.
We got a little stubble going, so we'll give it a pass.
That's right. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. So you got to blame my family's DNA line for just all the patchiness that goes on here, man. But absolutely. And like I said, I mean it wholeheartedly. You definitely came in, you were after it. Now you were just starting, if I'm not mistaken, with ADT. You can go ahead and mention the company you're with. I know you have a few different things that you've got going on, but ADT. So you had just started that role whenever you joined us, right?
Yeah. So I had been in it maybe a couple months in the role, and I was just a traditional door knocker. So we're actually a dealer for ADT. So it's Carolina Smart Home is the company. So we're just, think of us like the hyper local version of ADT, right? So you get their products, but you have us here. Usually you have dealers that'll sign you up and that goodbye. With us is more a relationship. We're trying to build those relationships. So that's kind of the avenue we have with the ADT stuff. But yeah, I just started with it, and naturally with the leaning into the networking, my bosses, the guys that run my dealership, are like, hey man, we see you're working, how's the saying go? You're working on the business more than in the business.
Yeah.
But we appreciate that. But we understand it's taken away from your, some of your checks, I guess, basically, because you're not making your commission out there knocking the doors. But luckily I'm blessed to work for those guys. And so, they got me doing business to business now. Right. So I do a little door knocking and I do, sales calls and stuff like that. But I'm more about building relationships, which falls in perfectly with the networking. Yeah. And I'm setting it out as a personal goal to kind of change the stigma behind the sales guy, especially when it comes to door-to-door sales, 100%. Like not because I'm a door-to-door sales guy, but like when it comes to security and stuff, like some of like the most stereotypical grimy, it's coming out of that. So I want to change that up, less predatory, more cooperative with just working with businesses, realtors, stuff like that.
I completely understand. Yeah, I think that the only thing that knocks on the door more nowadays is solar.
I know.
Solar, and it's just one of those things where it's like, man, like I'll call you, don't call me. I'm thankful. I hate to say this, but I'm secretly thankful that my new HOA or my new neighborhood that I live in, they don't allow solar. Yeah. So you just have the easiest, like, man, I'm so like, I've got the checkbook ready, man. I'm ready to go. It's just my HOA. Gosh, those guys are just mean, man.
Yeah, they're ruthless, man. You know what I mean? And the gift of the gab, I don't really have it in that way. I mean, I guess I'm a decent sales guy maybe, but I when it comes to the ADT stuff, I think of myself more like an order taker. I know a lot of people say that, but really, I'm just trying to help people out, man, because that's where I get more business out of it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to milk you out of a ton. Yeah. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
That's right.
Well, I think that speaks to your more purpose over anything else that you do. And it's more, and so what I'm hearing you saying is like, you just want to help people, and you want to help people get the right system. And really, like, I think it's kind of how both of us have run our businesses. We see there's a better way to do things, and that your passion, or one of your passions for, especially within the home security thing, is to like so many people have had not good experiences, but you want to be that opposite thing. So I really resonate with that. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, because and especially when it comes to like commission sales, you know, it's turn them and burn them, you know, and I've been blessed, like I said, to get brought in to getting out of just strictly commission sales and all that with Carolina Smart Home. So it gives me the opportunity to stop and smell the roses, because I was doing it anyways naturally, and thank the Lord that they were able to identify that and say, hey, we got you, you know, we'll help you, we'll nurture that, you know.
And that's tough, because you have to hope and pray that your leadership will see that and make the right move. So we commend, you know, the folks, if you're listening to this, we commend your move, that you saw it and you chose to not leave someone there, but to bring them up, because that is an investment.
Yeah, it's a slow game. You know, I'm not out, you know, like putting together a networking event or whatever. You know, I'm not going to have, you know, 80 people show up and sign up for a security system. I'm not, you know what I mean? But hopefully next time someone thinks about it, they'll be like, man,
that's right.
That's the guy.
Absolutely. But, and that's what I love though, is like you said, it's like the purpose over profit. So many people in these door-to-door, or, you know, they don't, number one, they don't see it as a career. They see it as a means to make an income, to get the thing that they want. That's right. And so, but when you start putting that purpose first, purpose is a lot like the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know what I mean? Purpose is something that if it were easy, we'd all be doing it. You know what I mean? It's easy to have your mindset on dollar bill, dollar bill, dollar bill, dollar bill, because I've got these things that I've got to do, and I'm living in this mindset where if I don't make these things happen, everything's going to fall apart. And honestly, living a purpose over profits mindset, to me, is such a freeing mindset once you embody it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what it does, it takes pressure off you in a way, you know, because the pressure, like I feel when it comes to it, it's like more positive, like pressure to like help, not like, oh, my performance.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Because and it hurts when somebody doesn't understand it too. Like I'm sure in your world too, where you're just trying to provide some help, and somebody's like, no, you're one of those guys. Like, listen, I'm just trying to help you. Like,
and I get it. I get it so often, especially when I'm trying to work with like real estate agents and stuff, you know, outside of directly with customers, with these partnerships, is because I know, and any real estate folks listening or watching know, the moment you sell a house, you get a ton of us calling you, probably beating down your doors, you know. And I really didn't know that's how it was, because that's not how I did my business, right? But that's how it is. And so like the moment someone sees my shirt, they're like, oh, another one of these guys, right? But I look at it as a blessing, because once I'm able to overcome that hurdle, man, you know what I mean?
Boom. That's what networking and things like that do, is when you can get past the gatekeepers, and you can get to the people, and they realize, oh, wow, like you tear down that barrier and shit. But I think that's what's so beautiful, is what are you willing to do? What are you willing to find and learn and grow from, that puts you in positions to not start where the average Joe is starting. If your starting line is here and theirs is there, just because, not because you cheated to get there, but because you put yourself in a position to just have that be your starting point, man, like you can't beat that, you know. And it might be a slow roll, like you said, going to chamber events, doing all these different things. But once you invest in that, I can't tell you the amount of people that say, Jeremy, our clients or this, I say, Jeremy, like, I don't even ask anyone else. I always ask you because you know everyone. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's definitely never been, it definitely wasn't always like that. You know, I can go back to 2018 me, but right when I was meeting this man right here, and man, I was nervous as I could be, but I just kept putting myself there, became our first ever full-term president for FAM, the networking group that we're a part of. I had no clue what I was doing. I mean, I was unfortunately going through a divorce at that time, like, you know, all these things that happened in my personal life that I never expected. And I was just trying to keep my face for all these people, but positivity and a willingness to continue going at it every day, to have that family to support, to have my clients, to have that purpose. That is what kept me going, where if I do believe of profits, or if I hadn't had the mindset to grow but just exist, I really don't believe I would be where I am today.
No. And you know, and I think it's a positive outlet for like your energy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a positive outlet to serve in one way or the other, because at the very least, it's like, let's say you're going through stuff, right? It's a distraction at the very least, right? And next thing you know, like this morning in our networking meeting, right? Someone said, man, I came in here feeling like crap, and then I feel great because just listening to you guys talk. You know, like that's big.
100%, man. And I love it. It's just a great opportunity. Now I want to get into something a little bit personal. I know that the past few months you've had some pretty big life events kind of happen. So you want to tell us a little about what's going on? Personally?
So I'm busy as it can be, but I got engaged at the end of last year. So I'm getting married this November.
Awesome.
I'm very excited about that. It's just, I couldn't be happier when, if anybody knows me, they know, and I've always been kind of like a wild child, a little bit. And I found someone that's just grounded me in every way. And it's wonderful. I'm very blessed for that. And it's helped me grow in my career path as well. You know what I mean? Like, not even to be facetious, but at the very least, if I'm not out there trying to date and do things, that's that time I'm spending building and doing things. You know what I mean? So I think and the older you get, the more you start to understand why it's so important to have somebody like that. You know what I mean? Because at the very least, it takes you off that path that's got you. Now you have the time to grow.
That's right.
And build. And then a couple weeks ago, we adopted a pit bull.
Nice.
So we rescued a pit bull. She's going through heartworm treatment right now. I just made the appointment for her last shots for that. She's doing great, and that's another thing, man. It's crazy. The biggest, because I don't have kids or anything like that, but just having that little bit of bundle of love, man, and just something that cares about you so much. You know what I mean? It's just good. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it, and I couldn't be happier with just how everything's fallen together. But I think it all boils down to, it's the purpose. You know what I mean? It all boils down to that. The moment you start living in your purpose, things fall into place. I was talking to Billy Colucci when me and him first met, kind of about like how I used to be kind of a wild child and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's so crazy how so many other avenues of my life fall into place when I'm at my purpose, when I'm, you know what I mean, doing right and whatever the case might be,
That's right.
Yeah. When you're in alignment with that, that's when things really start to take off and go, and you can see it.
Yeah, you really can. It's almost like intimidating.
Yeah. No, I think, and I think that you can agree. Someone that's there is like, I've been on the other side, but I'm on just a absolutely amazing side now. But a positive partner, a partner who, you might be different, but you're backing each other. Yeah. I cannot tell you. I tell everyone, you can give me an empty water gun. I'll charge hell. Give me that water pistol. And if I've got that behind my back, my wife texts me almost every morning, I love you. You're going to crush it. I'm so thankful. And I'm just like, man, when I read that, I'm like, everybody better watch out.
Yeah.
I am successful because of, I'm a people person. I'm like, that fills my tank, and so having a spouse or having a partner or even just a group of like-minded individuals who are willing to pour into you. I don't think we understand how important for me at least, or for words, how important our words can be, or how important our time 100%. Can be, or how important our, how important community can be. And so my piece of advice to you, as someone who the honeymoon phase will eventually wear a little bit, but it's always going to be to have that same mindset of giver's gain, or to serve. Like, what can I do to serve, not what can they do for me?
Absolutely.
Because I think if we can all have, even in a team mindset, we were talking about this morning at Bible study I was in, but a team is a beautiful thing, but if everyone can focus on what their contribution to the team is, what we don't realize is when we let go, when we don't carry the baton as far as we were supposed to, we let someone else down. Like we might think, oh, it doesn't matter, but it really did matter. And so that's my thing, is if we can just focus on doing what we're supposed to do in serving, I think you can agree. You're a seasoned vet. So, but I'm sure you got some advice you can bring to the table too, right here.
I think the big thing is just, you already seem to really know what your purpose is in life, and letting that just touch everything that you're doing. And I think that takes care of most everything. And so I can't say it quite as eloquently as Jeremy with all those things. But I think as long as if you know yourself, that makes a huge difference in all of your relationships, whether it's with a future spouse, family members, people that you work with, all those kind of different things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and I think, I know the first time that we met was at Bency Bill's Live to Lead.
Yes.
Thing, right?
I'm actually getting married at that venue.
Okay, nice.
I don't know if I mentioned it, because when I was at that event, I was telling her, I'm like, I'm going to get married here. I'm like, I freaking love this place.
Super awesome.
I did. Yeah.
It is
Speaking of the words being important.
That's right. You spoke it into existence, man.
So I remember we were just chatting because we were sitting at the same table. And I think ever since then, I've seen your face everywhere.
Yeah.
on social media and all that kind of stuff. So definitely want to dive into some of the other things that you're doing.
Yeah. So I joke that I'm trying to sort of brainwash everybody to remember in my face. I already kind of have a distinct look, whether it's the hair, the beard, or whatever. You know what I mean? But part of that is I just enjoy being everywhere.
Sure.
And again, it kind of falls back to I used to be a wild child kind of thing. Like I've always had all this energy anyways, and now I'm just channeling it in the most productive way possible.
Amen.
And the best way to do that, like an idle mind's the devil's playground. So I'm like out. Doing as much as I can, you know. So I'm launching a beard product line, which it's called Brewski Brothers Beard Company. It's just I've been making my own beard products for myself for years, and decided, you know, through our networking group, I just gave some to a guy. I was like, here, man, you know, I just made a batch. Just take some, you know, just as a gift. Goes to his barber shop. His barber falls in love. Dude, I got to meet this guy. A few months later, full blown launch, man. We're everywhere, you know, and then I try to do like extra work for commercials, ads, anything like that, you know, just to be anywhere, you know, networking events, the professionals on the patio event that we're putting together. So yeah, just anything I can do to be around. And really, I want people to see my face and in a weird, like see opportunity in the sense of like, man, like he's involved. He's trying to connect somebody. Like something's going on, or there's something I can do to get involved. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my goal. It's just to be synonymous with that growth.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's where I will say, you know, a little bit of envy will come in because, you know, we are to the point where we were able to, you know, we have these things. We have our podcast. We have, you know, these organizations that require so much of us, but then you have an idea and you can't capitalize on it. You know, one thing I'll tell you just in love is like, man, I had the idea for the longest time. I wanted to do an event out here called Networking at Night. You know, and I would talk to Jeff about it. This was a year and a half ago, you know, and I'm like, this is something I want to do. I want to do it once a month. But the thing is like this podcast is so important to our hearts. And it just wasn't what the Lord had for me. You know what I mean? But it's like an entrepreneur mindset, like, you know, even my mind was like, I want it, like this patio could be used for something so beautiful. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's a beauty in getting in a little bit, or, you know, I'd still say we're a small company, but, you know, kind of growing in those aspects is like, you can't do everything. And so like my mindset is like, man, like, look at this guy doing this thing that I had an idea for a year and a half, but I'm also like, dude, look at this guy doing this thing that we all know needed to happen. And look how beautiful it is. Because, man, I will tell you that it's definitely has a lot of upside. I think that you've got so much potential with this. You've got your own podcast that you guys are doing through it. You've got, you know, just a beautiful setup. And what it's doing is bringing together, it's connecting like-minded entrepreneurs. I mean, I think that that's something we can all get excited about.
And that's my biggest goal with it, you know, because there's tons of networking events around town. I'll name drop a couple because I think they're great. You know, we have Coffee on the Rooftop. You know, you have Not First Fridays, Waco, you know, the coffee talk for the chamber and stuff like that. And they're all great. And not only when in the event throwing space, but just in anything I do, marketing, networking, whatever. What I want to do is to add to, not to take away from, right? So like I always encourage, and if anybody listens or sees this, whatever, I always encourage people that have any other networking events, come out, bring literature, pass out flyers, get people, make my people come to your thing. You know what I mean? Because I want to do that, you know? Even if like, you know, obviously you have a lot going on, but if one of the months we do it, if we want to dub it, or, you know, networking at night and do like a little ball out of it or something, you know what I mean? But like there's so much opportunity that like my thing is like just to add to
100%.
You know what I mean? And like, cause I had, cause that's how this was kind of happened. David from Elite Landscape came to me and he's like, you know, I just moved into the building with you guys. He's like, I wanted to do kind of an event to introduce myself. He's like, I see you're doing this. He's like, can we just maybe try to work together? Boom. I was like, without a doubt. I need someone to buy food. Come on. You know, and then that's how it was born. And instead of it being a me, like I want the spotlight on my company or me, it's like, no, how many people can we bring together and make this great?
That's a collaboration is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, going to the mountain, I always tell everyone, like, the last place I want to be is at the mountaintop by myself. That sounds like a boring, sad, scary place.
Yeah. I want to say, I mean, it just speaks to it, that abundance mentality.
Because there's so much, man. There, you know, at the last Professionals on the Patio, there was a younger guy. Because, I mean, the guy that owns Elite's young. He's 21 years old, right? Yeah. There's a younger guy, you know, maybe the same age, but he looks like a kid. And he owns a landscaping company. He won one of the giveaways we did.
Oh, wow.
And David, you know, kind of like snickered at him a little bit. Like, I guess they know each other a little. But what he did when David had the opportunity to speak was like, hey, you know, I have a landscaping company, but hey, don't forget about him over there.
Yeah.
And he shouted the kid out. And I'm like, this is what it is.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's because there's enough for everybody, man.
Well, like this morning, you know, I know we had that networking event this morning that we were both at. And, you know, what I wanted to do is shout out that one guy that came. He's new, he's young. You could tell he was a little nervous, you know, he was from a car dealership.
That's a car guy, yeah.
And so I luckily had won the Golden Mite last week. This man presented it to me with our boom boom clap. You know, we had a fun thing going on. And so, but you know, I wanted to take a moment and say, I know I can't give it to you, but dude, like you did great. And my whole thing is like, I remember my very first time visiting a network, or how nervous you can get. And so I know that if you plant that seed of success, of excitement, it's those little things, man. It's that, if it's the extra minute. If you can just do that one extra thing, people remember it forever.
And the thing is, it took you nothing to say that or do that. And who knows, man, that kid could have been riding home, beating himself up. Man, I must have did a terrible job. You said that, boom.
It's good to go.
Change his whole day.
That's right. And so it's like, what can we do? But I think that you embody that extremely well. And I'll say that's why we wanted to have you. We want to bring you on and say, like, shout it from the rooftops, like, guys, this is happening. It's a great thing. It's exactly why I'm so happy you moved into the building. You know, I want to position myself. You know, I got Jim here for a season and then he went and just bought another. He's like, I'll just buy another place. You know, I just want to be able to walk to it. You know, we're all trying to get to his level.
Right. We're trying to ascend ourselves.
That's right. You know, so he, you know, but at the end of the day, the thing is you put yourself around people that calls you to say, hey, I got to get up and do something.
And I like that. And that's something that is so important. That's what I love about networking groups and events, and just having, it doesn't even have to be a networking group. Just having some sort of accountability with people, whether it's, you know, for career, fitness, faith, whatever, you know, just some sort of accountability, and just someone to say like, hey, relate, you know, we're going through this together, man. You know, whether it's, man, that's a great idea. I need to get off my butt and do my idea, or the opposite, man. That's a great idea. I want to support that, or you know, whatever. I know there's plenty of days I'll show up to a networking event or whatever, and you know, I'm like dragging. You know, I don't want to do something, but then I start seeing people like, bam, winner. I'm like, God,
chicken dinner.
I need, exactly, right. I'm like, I need to stop the chicken. I need to switch the chicken dinner. But you know, and it's like, and it's just, it's good that, like you said, it's like, not even, I don't want to use healthy competition as a word because there's no competition to it, but it's like it's just a healthy, just inspiration.
I would say you can consider it competition.
Well, so you rise to the level of the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
And so, I mean, I think all of our different inner circles and different things like that is you want to be around people that have the same motivations as you too. Because on those days when it may be lacking a little bit, they're going to be the ones that pick you up and help you kind of move into those.
Well, it's a great opportunity to help you grow too, because like you said, so many times people could just get salty, like, oh, this person's doing this, like this guy's got this guy's got that. And it's like an opportunity to say, no, you know what? Like, no. Yeah. Like, I love being in those positions around people that, you know, that where they have the opportunity to feel that from you. You have the opportunity to feel it from them. It's that growth. You know,
it's on you to do it.
And I tell my kids all the time, like my daughter, she was we were at a water park and a little scared to do this ride. I said, sweetheart, how many times in life do you have the opportunity to overcome your fear? Like really, there's so or to grow and like to literally know, if I make this decision, I'm going to grow from it. Right. Like how beautiful is that feeling? And I think that when you put yourself in those positions, you have those opportunities to experience it and something to really look back at yourself and say, man, I'm proud of you. Look at the man, I'm proud. That positive affirmation of, dude, look at what you're doing. And hopefully you're doing that. A year ago, you would be so excited and so honored.
And I think we all have to put that in perspective, man. I've had situations, I forgot what it was that I was doing. And I hear this a lot, but I think it was a Steve Harvey thing I saw. But it's like, I was like, man, I got to do this. And then I texted my fiance and I sent her a long text. I'm like, what the audacity that I have. I was like, a year ago, if I would have told me that I had the opportunity to go, it was present my beard product to somebody. I said, if I told myself a year ago I had the opportunity to, dude, I would have been up the night before I got a kid before Christmas. I said, how dare I take this blessing and downplay it in any way?
Man.
Yep.
I love that.
So cool. So cool. Yep.
Do you want to tell our listening audience, number one, how they can get in contact with you for any of the 83 things that you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing is, I know I need to get on LinkedIn better, but Facebook.
I struggle with that too.
Yeah,
Facebook's
Jonathan
my thing.
Gamboa. Of course, Carolina Smart Home for the security stuff, but really just Jonathan Gamboa on Facebook and Professionals on the Patio.
That's it.
That's the main way to see what's going on. That's my main avenues to try to just spread the word of everything we've got going on, and try to post about our partners, anybody involved with anything.
Absolutely.
So that's it. Professionals on the Patio.
Perfect. That's the Facebook page.
Yep,
people can go
Facebook
to?
page. Yep,
Perfect.
Facebook page. There's a like page, and then there's like various event pages.
And there's sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah, sponsorship opportunities as well. We've just filled up on our platinum sponsors for this month, but we're going to be doing it every month. So there's opportunities for that. We also have discounts for like multiple month packages. So we actually had 2 of the sponsors sign up for 6 months apiece.
Beautiful.
Which is great. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
can't beat it.
Because for us is we want to keep it a free event,
Mm-hmm.
free food, free drinks, and just give people the opportunity to break bread, get loose, music, have a good time. It's funny, at the last one, I heard rumblings that a few folks were like, man, this music's so loud. 20 minutes later, the same people were dancing. And that's what I want to do.
That's
You
it.
know what I
That's it.
mean?
I love
It's just kind of
A few
inspire
drinks in
people.
them.
That's it. Yeah, a couple margaritas.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you.
We've really enjoyed it, and man, we're just I don't know. I just need to feel like I need to go out and do something. I gotta go.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I gotta go accomplish.
Very, very motivating. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all for having me.
Later.